everyone, welcome to another of my videos, and today we'll be looking at load testing and exploring Gatling. So this video is going to go from me introducing myself, exploring load testing, how to use Gatling, Gatling's no-code interface, we're doing a live walkthrough, the results, how Gatling fits. So moving on to the introduction. Hi everyone, once again, my name is Yomi and I'm a developer advocate with over 5 years of experience. I'm also passionate about building things that help developers build better. And today, we'll be exploring load testing and how to use Gatling. So yes, like we have here, what is load testing? Load testing gives you insight into how your website would perform under high traffic or peak usage. It helps uncover performance bottlenecks before potential users do. So essentially what this is just trying to say is that load testing gives you insight into how your website, your potential web app or your potential app would actually function under heavy traffic or heavy usage, and it gives you detailed reports on how you can better increase or enhance the performance. Load testing is a safety net highlighting how your web app would perform under heavy traffic and what needs to be optimized before shipping. So essentially, you need to understand how your web app would perform, how your website would perform under a particular product launch, and see how you can optimize its performance over time. So think of load testing as this simulation of very heavy traffic, very high load, in such a way that you can see exactly what you need to do before actually pushing your web app to live or pushing it to production. So load testing, like we have, it answers very important questions like how many users can my system handle at once, where does performance start to wane, and exactly which service is slowing the system. So these are very, very important questions that Gatling actually strives to answer through its load testing tool. So moving on to the next slide, as you can see here, we have exploring Gatling. So Gatling, like I've said before, is a load testing tool that is capable of simulating high volumes of traffic, analyzing performance metrics under heavy traffic or peak usage. So essentially, think of Gatling as this tool that is able to simulate very high traffic on your web app or your application and analyze performance metrics in such a way that you can understand exactly the performance issues that it's going to have when it does go to live or when it is shipped to production. So simulating that very heavy traffic is one of those things that Gatling's load testing tool is able to do. So Gatling actually provides very highly detailed reports, like I've said, such as response time, distribution, request per second, and scenario completion rates. So essentially, Gatling also provides a no-code interface that lets you build, run, and analyze load tests in just a few clicks. So you don't even have to code to essentially be able to use Gatling. You can also use their no-code interface, which I would also show you in a very short while and run you through a live walkthrough of one of the tests that I have done. So yes, moving on to Gatling's no-code interface, just a quick understanding. Gatling's no-code interface lets you build, run, and analyze load tests right from your browser. So you can literally run your first test in just a few minutes. All you need to do is to define a scenario, set your users, choose your injection profile, and you are ready to test. So there is no installation drama, there is no setup drama, it's just straight to testing. And this is very, very awesome, to be honest, if you think about it, because you don't even need to code to actually be able to run this load test, like we have said before. Finally, moving on to the results of using Gatling, right, as a load testing tool. So after the test runs, Gatling gives you detailed, clean and visual reports. So you're able to see response times, throughput, success ratios, everything that you literally need to make smart decisions. So the impact, this is actually where load testing actually shines, because you're able to answer very important questions before you ship your web app to live or you ship that product to launch. So before launching a new feature, would it scale? That's one question that Gatling's load testing will help you to answer, right? This my new feature, would it be able to scale under such heavy load or peak usage? During a traffic spike, is your app ready for that promo or viral post, right? So in a particular period there's a traffic spike, would your app be ready for that heavy traffic during their promo sales or viral posts. In staging as well, you would also be able to find bottlenecks, that is performance issues, before you ship to production. So essentially, Gatling helps teams move fast without sacrificing confidence, and that is a superpower in today's fast-moving tech world. So you know that with Gatling, you're able to move fast because you know that you have done all of this simulation of load tests way before, and you know exactly the kind of load or heavy traffic that your web app is able to withstand during its peak usage. So how does Gatling fit into the workflow? You can use Gatling in your CI/CD pipeline to run load tests on every pull request. It also works with Jenkins, GitHub Actions, GitLab, and more. So essentially, Gatling is actually a very awesome tool, and is actually very huge for teams who want to catch performance issues before users ever even see them. So think of Gatling as this awesome tool that is able to give you confidence that my web app is going to be able to withstand this amount of traffic. Why? Because you have done a simulation of tests in such a way that you understand exactly the heavy traffic that your web app will be able to withstand during its peak usage, and you have been able to enhance its performance over time. So finally, thank you again for watching. And if you have never tried load testing before, I genuinely hope that this has given you the spark to try it out. And I really hope that you try out Gatling's load testing tool, as it's one of the best out there. One thing that you should note though is that you can always try out the no code interface first and then move on to the code. One thing I would also like to mention is this video was just for me to explain exactly what load testing is, how you can use Gatling's, and what the no-code interface would look like, and just run through a live walkthrough. I am also working on a video that is going to be able to show you exactly how you can run Gatling through code. So if this is something that you're interested in, definitely leave it in the comments and I will get right to it. So please definitely give Gatling's tool a try, share what you've learned, and you just need to continue building. Okay, hi everyone. This is a live walkthrough of Gatling's no-code interface, and these are just some tests that I have been able to perform just to see and understand properly exactly how the no-code interface actually works. So in just a short while, I would run you through the performance metrics of one of these such tests. But in a case where you want to actually create your own test or simulation, all you need to do is to just click on create a simulation, follow the steps that come with it. You can also select any injection profile and any other optional details that you want to be included, and you are good to go. So I am just going to click on one of these tests now. So let's pick test 2 and let's see how it's going to run. Okay, so as you can see here, we have different reports like the throughput, percentile, and for one, right, let's look at this first one, the response status. So this is a bar chart just showing the percentage of successful versus failed requests in your simulation. And as we have here, we have the responses okay, that's purple, and responses KO, which is red. So just think of it as the requests that are succeeded and the results that have failed, maybe likely to timeout or errors. So in this particular test, 50.67% of the requests failed, which is KO, and the remaining 49.33% succeeded. So essentially, half of my requests failed in this particular test, which is a big red flag, because that means that the server, the web app, could not handle the load or had availability issues. So this is exactly the kind of insight that Gatling load testing actually gives before it puts production. So moving on to the next one, which is the response time percentile. This chart just shows how long it took to respond to different portions of users over the course of this entire test. So we have 50% blue, 90% yellow, and on like that. So in this my test, my max response time is around 2.4 seconds, which means some requests were very slow under load. and the percentages here also tell like a very deep story. So that means that even though some users got fast responses, others were stuck waiting, and even a few hit the 2.4 second mark. So that means that the lag under load can actually halt real world user experience, which is not necessarily good. Moving on to the final chart that we have here, which is the throughput. It shows how many successful responses per second it was able to serve, which is literally the RPS, responses per second. So essentially I got 1.28 RPS, which is the purple bar, responses okay, and fed responses were counted in this specific metric. So essentially this is just able to handle just only or over one successful response per second under the test load, which is quite low if you are targeting reward scale or reward traffic, or you're expecting multiple users all at once. So essentially these are the kind of insights that the chart or the performance metrics gives insight to. So how fast it is able to respond at different load levels, how well it scales under pressure, and maybe where things also begin to like slow down or fail or wane or decline over time. You should be able to also see a walkthrough very soon of using Gatling code to actually simulate some of these load tests and reward traffic as well. So if that is a video that you're interested in, do let me know and I will also create that video as well. Thank you again everyone, and have a very, very lovely evening.